Good morning, YouTube. It's the Lofty Biker here. Just a quick catch up. I've had my NT 1100 now for nearly a week, and this is my fourth time out on it. I'm up to 300 miles so far, and I'm really enjoying it, to be fair. I'll just tell you a few little things about what's been going on. The initial problem I've encountered, strange one really, I can't get the seat off at all, driver's seat or passenger seat. When I got home, I thought I'll have a look under the seat, see if there's enough room to put my puncher outfit in there. And I jiggled and wiggled and turned the key. I pushed it down, I pulled it up, I did all sorts. And I thought, well, not to worry. I'm going up to Damrell's tomorrow to ride the CF Moto 800. So I've got there and I've gone for a coffee. And just as I'm walking back to the bike, Mark's come out and I said, Mark, just one thing, get the seat off for me. So I've chucked him the keys. He's pushed the key in, he's done something, and it's come off. And I said, bloody hell. Anyway, before I had a chance to say anything else, he's pushed it back down. I've said, now get it off again. And it wouldn't come off. Absolutely wouldn't budge. He couldn't get near it. It feels as though where the cable hooks in to pull the trigger against, the release trigger against, there's no resistance whatsoever on the key. I said, oh bloody hell. So I said, I'm a bit worried about that. And just coming alongside the subject, I'd asked him about a service. Well, I'd already done 220 mile when I got there the day after. And he said, July the 20th. I said, bloody hellfire. I said, I'm never going to make it last to July the 20th. I said, anyway, what about this seat? He said, I'll have a bit of a mess. And anyway, I had a coffee and he had a bit of a mess. It wouldn't budge, it wouldn't come off. He said, we'll get it booked in. Anyway, I've managed to book the bike in for the 4th, which is next week. No, sorry, the 6th, which is next week. I says, well, while you're looking at the seat, why don't you just drop the oil on and be done 600 mile by then? He said, okay. So I've actually got my first braking service next week. That's why I'm out today, and I'll probably be out tomorrow and out Sunday, just banging a few miles on, loosening everything up, just giving the bike a chance to relax. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I was speaking to one of the lads from up north on the NT forum, and he was saying about bits and pieces he got, and he asked me what I'd got. Well, I used the discount for Power Bronze via the forum, and I've ordered a rear hugger in matte, a front fender extender in matte, and I've ordered the radiator guard. So I'm quite pleased about all them bits. The trouble is, I want to put my sat-nav on, because I've got my old Garmin Zumo, my LM, which I'm going to mount here on the handlebars. But I can't fit it until I get the seat off. The other thing I've got is Ollie from Motorcycle Essentials has sent me down a Scotch oiler. It's the version 2 of the X or something. I believe it's an electronic one where you fit it in, you put the wires to the battery, and actually motion tells you how often it dispenses oil. So when the bike's stationary, it doesn't dispense any oil, and it also doesn't run the battery down. As soon as you start riding, some sort of motion detector inside it senses you riding and starts dispensing oil. So I'm looking forward to getting that on. I don't really fancy spraying them, it's a bit of a faff, although there's a centre stand, so if you do want to spray, feel free and spray. I do like Scott oilers. Up until I bought the RS, every bike I had got a chain, and I'd had a few with Scott oilers over the years, so it wasn't a big deal for me to go back to a chain. Not too worried about it. So there you have it, really. I'm really enjoying it, like I say. I've come out for a ride today with Arkwright, and he's on his XADV DCT. So we've got two DCTs riding out together. How good's that? How exciting. I'm getting used to it. A little bit of help for anybody who's running it in. You don't really want to be using D drive to run it in. It tends to change up at quite low revs, and you're dropping 2,000, 2,500 revs a lot, and you're finding yourself in 5th, 6th gear. Well, I would suggest you want to keep the engine spinning, so you're better off in either Sport 1 or Sport 2, or if you want, you can even put it in manual and use the flappy paddles, just to make sure you keep the engine in the sweet zone. I'm not going above 5,000 revs. I don't see any point. I've been up to 70 odd mile an hour, and it's comfortably within the 5,000 revs. What I'm trying my hardest to do is keeping it in the rev band between 2.5, 3 to 4.5, which I find the engine's quite comfortable at those speeds, or those revs I should say. I do find sometimes you've got to give the DCT a little bit of chance. You come slowing down, you think, is it going to change, is it going to change? But if you let the throttle off, generally it'll change. It might be like a split second after what you'd have wanted, but you've just got to give the DCT chance to know what you're up to. I have seen a few reviews where people have moaned about a surging. What it is, I don't actually think it's surging. I think the throttle is extremely light. It reminds me of my Tiger Explorer. The slightest bit of input on the throttle makes a difference. So what I'm finding is you're better off either on the throttle or off the throttle. Now don't just reverse, mate. I know that was what your first intention was. So as I say, I think you've got to be a little bit gentle with your throttle hand. Get used to applying the revs gently and slowly, and also if you don't want to rev it, just throttle off. So you throttle off, it gives the DCT a chance to realise where you are, then just bring it back in steady and build it back up again. And I'm finding I've reduced the surging to virtually nil. Another thing is, you can always just drop a cog to put it back in the rev range if you like. So here I'm doing 40, just drop it on it with a paddle to 3, from gear 4 to gear 3, and that just stops it. Yeah, it looks like every German camper van in the world decided they want to ride the coastal road today. They'll come a cropper if a bus comes the other way. Anyway, time to overtake. I don't mind mincing about, but I don't want to mince about all day long stuck behind somebody doing 25 mile an hour. But still, let's change the subject, shall we? I'll have people saying you're going too fast on that new bike, which I'm not. I'm just keeping it spinning. And I do honestly think it's the best way to run a bike in. Keep it spinning. Don't forget to throttle off occasionally to let both sides of the piston run in. Anyway, I don't need to lecture you about that. I don't need to tell you about that. You run your bike in how you want, and I'll do exactly the same. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now. That was just a quickie, just to bring you up to speed with how my first week's gone with the DCT and with the Honda in general. I haven't washed it or anything yet. I've not felt the need. I've not actually been out in any wet weather, but it's not going to stop me going out. But I would like to get the fender extender and the hugger on really first. Anyway, this is the Lofty Biker saying ta-ra for now. Ta-ra.